is Clark Parker. Clark and his wife Marcia are lifelong residents of South Carolina's First District. A practicing accountant for nearly 30 years, Clark is a partner in the firm of Parker, Hunter, Spivey, CPA, LLC. A past president of the South Carolina Tax Council, Clark is currently State Program Director for Continuing Professional Education. Clark's a co-founder and current treasurer of Friendship Medical Clinic, a charity providing free health care with no government assistance. A 1977 graduate of Coastal Carolina University, Clark served as a 15-year member and past president of the university's Board of Trustees. Ladies and gentlemen, please join with me as we welcome Clark Parker.
I'll try it. I was going to move around, but I won't be able to do that. But let's stand up real quickly. This is a 6-inning stretch. Let's stand up. That felt good, didn't it? All right. Now, how many of y'all believe in miracles? Raise your hand. Let me tell you about a miracle. Not only do we have 8 candidates running for Congress, we've got 8 good candidates running for Congress. But when I was 8 years old, my mother checked in the Conway Hospital for surgery, for kidney stones. And the surgeon gave her an epidural, and it sort of paralyzed her functions. In just a short period of time, the surgeon announced that the patient had died and asked the surgical team to leave the room. And we were told a few minutes later down in the waiting room that my mother had died in the operating room. Well, a young nurse went back in there to that hospital room and checked on her and saw a little tear in her eye and went back into the hallway of that hospital and asked the young intern to come back in there and check on this patient, because I think she's still alive. I remember that day as an 8-year-old boy, I went on my knees and I prayed for my mother. I said, please send my young mother back home to these children that need her. They revived my mother that day, and a prayer was answered. And since that day, I've tried to honor that request, as well as the prayer I made to my God that I would serve him in whatever manner I could. So thank God there are miracles. Thank God there are mothers like this dear mother right here, sitting here tonight, listening to her son run for the U.S. Congress. Thank God for y'all out there being part of this process. I wish this room was full. I wish this room was full. As I debated about running for Congress, it weighted my heart very much. As I talked to several politicians in the community, the mayor of Conway said, Clark, it's like running in the streets naked. No problem. Everything will be exposed. Now let me talk to you about these 4 questions. Jobs is very important, particularly if you don't have one. I believe that another important thing we've got to defend and protect is our financial security for our senior citizens. They're very concerned about what's going to happen to that Social Security fund and Medicare and Medicaid and all those things that are on the chopping blocks, as well as new taxes that are added to this health bill that's going to impact a lot of us if we don't change it. And that's our plans, right guys? Anybody that goes up there is going to change that, right? Question number 2, what is the role of the federal government in K-12? That must be a trick question, because they should have no role. Number 3, how do we suggest handling illegal immigration? The word's in it, right? They're illegal. They need to go back. Number 4, how do we achieve energy independence? How many of you have ever traveled to a foreign country? Our worst days are some of their best days. But we must develop every natural resources that we can possibly develop. Nuclear power plants, drilling for oil and natural gas right here in the United States, modernizing our coal-firing energy plants, and getting the private sector, not the federal government, involved in economical solar power and wind energy plants. Regarding refineries is one part of the question. We currently have 149 refineries located in the United States. The last oil refinery was built 29 years ago. There's currently one under construction and planned in Arizona, and it's been developed over a period of 5 years and not got there yet. Somebody already mentioned Congressman Ryan. Let me read something that's on his website. This should scare you. Imagine your family finances if you spent and borrowed like Washington. You'd owe $60 in credit card loans for every $100 of income. Every month you'd pay back a little bit, but borrow even more. 10 years from now, you'd owe $87 on $100 worth of income. And at some point, you'd hand off that debt to your children. If they worked until 2035, they'd owe more than $180 for every $100 of income. That is a travesty. That is a nightmare. And that is something we cannot afford to happen. I'm not as polished as some of these guys. I haven't been doing this very long. Since January 11th of this year, I've been out talking and complaining and sharing and listening to various people around this district. But let me share some things I will do. As your congressman, I will begin reducing our national debt. As your congressman, I will vote to cut federal spending. As your congressman, I will not vote for any bailouts. As your congressman, I will not spend money we do not have. I will begin dismantling the overreaching federal government that burden our businesses and begin to grow our gross national product. And I will vote to balance our federal budget. Our state is required to do it. The federal government should be required to do it as well. My wife lost some sleep the other night. She tried to print the federal budget. Thank God she didn't print it, because it was 3,720 pages. No wonder they can't balance it. They can't pick it up. Send me to Congressman to be your accountant. Send me to Congressman to be your auditor. Send me to Congressman to be your neighbor. Send me to Congressman to be your friend. Send me to Congressman to be your advocate. Send me to Congressman to help things get right. Because I believe in a lot of things. I do believe in the Constitution. But I got a little roadmap here that helps me every day. And that helps me every day. God bless you, and thank you for being here.